This short video is going to be an attempt to show you how to use parametric design with Inkscape. So as always, we start off with document properties. We're going to make sure we're in inches because the equipment we use is in English units, operates in English units. I'm going to assume we're in a 30-inch wide piece of cardboard that's 20 inches deep. That's our standard size. We do have a smaller size. You'd set it for that if you're working in that arena. Okay, now we're going to go ahead. I'll back off. I'll hit minus so you can see we're over here. I hit my minus key. It shot up. There's our page that would print out on a laser cutter. We're going to hit a rectangle. We're going to draw it right here. We might not see it because if we check under objects and fill and stroke, our stroke size is 0.001, which we use in laser cutter, which can be pretty common in our lab. So that I will see it, I'm going to go to View, Display Mode, Outline. Now I can see wherever I go. Now it's a pretty big square. And what we're going to start off doing is making a slot. All right. So the way we go about this, let's go ahead and set the size of our slot. We're going to make it a 1/2 inch wide. And this slot can differ depending on your needs. And I'm going to make it 0.15 thick, 0.1500 thick. Why that is all right, so there we are. That's the thickness of cardboard. Now, when we want to get a little bit closer, we click over. There's 3 icons you can click. That gives you an overall. This will take you right up on what you're doing in that middle icon right there, if you see that. Zoom to fit drawing, zoom to selection, and zoom to fit window. Go back out on that. I'm gonna hit positive here and kind of get a little bit closer to it because I want to be able to see it, but I want to be able to see other things next to it. Okay, now there is. So we have that, and we're going to make what we're going to do is make a clone of this. And the first thing I'm going to do is we'll move it over here. We're going to go up to Edit, Make Clone, Create a Tile Clone Set. A duplicate won't change. A clone changes with the original, so that's why we use clones. And we're not going to make one. We're going to make groups, so we'll do a tile set. So I do create, and it's 2 by 2. I could change this to make it as many as I want. I'm going to go ahead and hit create. Just leave it at that default. Now, what I'll do is I'll move this one over, this one over, this one down here, just because I'm moving in. And watch, here's where the confusion sometimes can be is the 4 are formed right over the original. Now, here's my original, and I'm going to actually set the original off the side of my paper. Why? Because I don't want it, this is going to become my key. I'm going to make a all right, so I'm making a key here. Right. So this is my key, it's what I'm using in my drawing. So if I change something in the key, the rest of the drawing will reflect that. So for example, if I did pull this out, if I go up here, it's 0.15. Let's even type it in so we get exact. I make it 0.75. You can see these all got bigger. They reflect this drawing here. And in case you're wondering, if I pull it out, you can see they stacked up on each other. But this size reflects this size. I'm going to do edit undo. All right, we're back to the original 0.15. Whereas if I took this object and I do edit duplicate, it's going to make it right on top of it, just like the other one did. All right, now watch when I make this one bigger. I'm going to hit the control key and hit this green, and it'll do it to scale. It's important you keep it to scale when you do this. See how, oops. See how change this These changed. These were clones. This was a duplicate. A duplicate doesn't change. All right. Undo scale, undo move, undo duplicate. Because I really don't want to duplicate these. Now, the next part of this is making a grid so I can start using these in slots. I'm going to have a rectangle. I'm going to have 4 slots. Very common way to do this. So I'm going to do a little trick here. Turn on tile clones. I'm going to draw a rectangle right here so you can see it. It's going to be 2 inches by 2 inches. All right. There it is. 2 by 2. The next trip I'm going to do is I'm going to take this rectangle and I'm going to distribute it. So what do I mean by that? I'm going to go to Object and I'm going to put up a line and distribute, and there's also a range. These things will all come up here in a minute. There's a line, distribute, arrange. There's this choice in my drawing, in my page, etc. where to align things. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to align it to the page. This is going to move now. It's going to move to the middle of the page. And now I'm going to move it. I'll even back it up a little bit more so you can see it. I'm going to move it at the center of the page. So now this is at the center of the page, right here. Okay? Let's go ahead and sometimes it even has a hard time fitting. But right there's the center page. My little rectangles up here. My little clones are right up here. We're going to make this rectangle just to help us set up the spacing on this. So I'm going to grab this. I'm all moving down. Whoops. My mic is getting in the way of my mouse. Just bear with the sound, sorry. All right. All right, here we go. Now, I'm going to take this, because I want the center of the page. I'm going to use everything in the center of the page. Seems to work for me the best. You may find a technique works better for you. So I'm going to take this one and do just what I did before. Here it is in the middle, in the center, the same center, which is really not what we need, but I want it right here. I want to get it in the middle, and I want it right here. Then I'm going to go over here and click on Align top edge of object to the bottom edge of anchor. That would be the top, bottom edge. Here's the right edge. All right, we're going to do right edge because I don't really care about the top on this one yet. We may do it on the other one in a moment. But so go up here. We'll click up. Align left edge of object to right edge of the anchor. So here we go. And I did it off a page. Oh, so that didn't work so well, did it? So we're going to undo align. So then we're going to go off of first selected. That is saying is, I'm going to say, okay, here's this square. Then I'm going to hit Shift, get the second square, and then I'll do this. So let's see if it works off now. See, and that's why it's a little bit odd. It pulls over a little bit on it, but now if I hit this, where it says align on the right side, it'll drop in there. You would think you could go right to the right side. It doesn't seem to always work, so I do it to the far left or the far right. So I'm going to take another one. Watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to put it first in the center of the, wait a minute, let's go ahead, go back to page, jumped it, go to the center there, and then I'm going to go to the horizontal, then I'm going to go select first selected, click on the square, then click on, use the shift key, click on just that little slot, go to the align right edge of the object to left edge of the anchor being the first thing I selected. It's over there. And now align left edge. All right, so now I have a box with the slots right on there. Okay? So then I can take this. I'm going to really do a very similar thing. I'm going to go back up to the page. I'm going to move it to the center. Okay? Now, what we're going to try to do here is I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees. So if I go up here, rotate selection 90 degrees. There it is. All right. And then I'm going to make sure it's on the center on the horizontal axis. It is. Then we're going to do what we just did a minute ago. I'm going to see if I can get it to go up there. Object. So let's go here. Let's go to the first selected again. You could be last selected. It's just a matter of choice. Shift, and then I'm going to hit Shift. Select that second one. Let's go ahead and see if this. All right, so that went to the bottom. That's fine. We can use that. And there I am. Got it right on the bottom. So I used these two this time. This other time we'll do the top. So now I'm going to go with this. Back to, wait a minute, first selected. I messed up. I'm jumping the gun there. Let me go back to page. Let's do it that way. Select on this along the page, puts it in the center. There we go. Rotate it. Now, there's two different rotations, so we'll play with this. We may need to rotate it again in a minute. If it's not totally symmetrical, you'll see when we scale it up, it can sometimes cause problems. So I'm going to go ahead, change this back to first selected. So I'm going ahead, clicking on that, clicking on the square, clicking a second time on that slot, and then we're going to hit up here, puts it above box, and then just bring it down one more time, line to the edge, and we're set. All right. Okay. So now, got a little bit of background noise. Just bear with me. We'll keep it up. I'll just speak up. Got it here now. So bear with me. We're almost done. So we have these four rectangles here. So now we're ready to have a group. See how these are all coordinated? We're going to see how well this works. And what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and drag down our key just for a minute here. Hit minus. All right, here we go. Bear with me, folks. We're almost done here. All right. Now, I brought the rectangle down. And so let's see what happens inside the square. If I make in here, if we make this bigger, these all are bigger. But see how some of them aren't quite centered. All right, well, one of it, I didn't scale it very well. So we got to do unscale scale. So let me do this. And go over here to look on the area we just picked. A little bit less. All right, when I hit this, watch what happens to these. Hit Shift. I'm going to pull this out. And there it is. They all actually scale up just fine. So make sure you hit the control key when you pull that shift. So when your key scales up, the pieces inside here, everything's straight, everything looks pretty decent on it. I'm going to go ahead and hit Edit Undo. So what do I do in this situation? Now I've got these four. I'm going to take, which seems counterproductive. You just had that rectangle there. Well, I want to save these because I can drop them into other objects. So the first thing I'm going to do is get rid of this. Hit delete. Now I'm left with these. I'm going to group these by selecting all four of them. Hit edit objects, excuse me. I'm going to go to group. I grouped that. So now we have two parts of our key. So let's back off. We're going to move these up a little bit. And you're going to see that this really gets to be powerful now. So pull one up to this key, the original one. We have these. Now, here's what's kind of cool. I can change this, but I can also duplicate and clone this one as well. So if I wanted to, I could do something like this. I could make a clone of that, and this clone would change. I'll show you real quick here. All right, there we go. What am I doing here? Here we go, clone. All right, so we're going to create a tile clone just like before. It's 2 by 2, but you can make a bunch of them if you wanted to. All right, so we hit create. Then, see, now we have these 4 clones. Pull them over here, 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 here. If I, just like before, if I take this clone, I hit the Shift key, or Control key, I should say. See, they all get bigger. Let's edit, undo scale. All right. Now, so what can we do? So we now have this, and we can control that. If I control this one, watch what happens. They all. So this really gives you a power to do things. Now, the next thing. I'm going to take this off. So let's actually make something that's useful. We're going to go ahead and make another rectangle again. We're going to hit the rectangle. We're going to get 2.0, 2.0. There's our rectangle. We're going to go ahead and center it again on the page because I like that. That seems to me work the best way of getting everything centered. Let's get rid of clone and distribute here. All right, so let's go to page, up there at the top, center on the vertical axis, then center on the horizontal axis. Take this one and do the same thing. Center on the vertical axis, center on the horizontal axis. Now it fits right in there. Perfect. Go ahead, grab the whole thing, group it. Object, grouped. I have a new key right there. I can make multiple copies of this, and I'm all set to go. Now, I'm going to leave it at that, but how would you go about doing a circle or a rectangular shape? All right, thank you very much. I hope you find this helpful.